All right. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here. Well, we do have some fun stuff to do this evening. Our main objectives tonight are to really just talk about observations and the skill of listening. Now, I know that last month we talked about that third point in conversations, and there's the aspect of your body language and which way you're facing and all of that. But tonight we're really going to get into more of, I don't want to say the science of listening, but the details of listening and your body language and your posture and all of that. Just as part of that observation process, it's hard to provide feedback if we're not really listening, understanding our mentees. So I'd like to start off with, this is a fun thing to do with kids, is a rose, thorn, and a bud. Has anyone done this before? I feel like I've heard teachers talk about this, but I never tried it for myself. It's pretty cool. Ah, that's awesome. Very cool. So from what I understand of it is the rose is like, tell me something good, a success, something exciting. Your thorn is kind of tell me something that's been tough, a challenge, just kind of blah. And then your bud is something you're looking forward to that has potential. So in your response, I want you to label it rose, and then thorn, and then bud. So go ahead and take a minute and think of right now in life. You can think back over last week, just today, whatever you'd like to do, and go ahead and share a rose, a thorn, and a bud. I think this is interesting. Instead of always doing good things, this kind of lets kids know that it's safe to have a thorn. Like it's okay to have a bad moment or something that's not going well. So I like this a lot. Oh, Carrie, that hiring landscape, it is tough.
It is brutal.
We have, I don't know if anyone else is in Colorado Springs or District 49, but one of the high schools here is having a terrible time with their math department and they can't find anybody. So they basically have this like 70-year-old man just as a warm body supervising these kids, and they get a worksheet every day. I'm like, how are these kids learning algebra and algebra 2? Like, oh, that'd be so tough. Yay, middle of year growth, Sarah, that's huge. Congratulations. Jolene, way to lead by example. Constantly learning. New curriculum, Lisa. Oi. Tara? Man, 6th grade hormones. Woo! Those must be powerful. That's like the first round of hormones. They really don't know what they're doing. Oh my goodness. Good, Jenny. I'm glad you're seeing growth in your students. That's wonderful. Lindsay, isn't it true, like those days where you just have fun with your kids? It feels so good. I'm glad you had a day like that today. Katie, that's great. You've established that relationship. Congratulations. Stephanie, congrats. Back from Christmas and ready to go. Good. Wonderful. Oh, Sarah, I'll be curious to see how that goes with those reading protocols. Teresa, we're going to have a chance to talk about some challenges, so I'm glad you brought that up. Audrey getting some growth as well. Kristen's getting some growth out of their mentee. Fantastic. Oh, there have been some tough conversations. Well, I'm going to have to hear about that. Hey, congrats on keeping a teacher from quitting. That's huge. Oh my goodness. If you've done your post, go ahead and scroll back. There's some amazing things happening. Whoops, I apologize.
I'm gonna blurt. I
No.
can't get my tech to work on this end.
Okay.
This is Hovland,
Yeah.
but a rose would be working with my mentee as he was doing a thoughtful Thursday practice, and all of his classes participated
Wow, that's
in a
huge.
2-minute little pre-assignment meditation. So that
Awesome.
was really a brave thing for him to do.
Absolutely. That's great. Thank you for sharing that, Evelyn. Got some partners. Uh-oh, Julia. School drama. Dun, dun, dun. That's hard. I wonder if school drama and 6th grade hormones could be handled in a similar way. Probably. Sometimes that's what's necessary. Yes. Well, thank you for sharing this. Maybe even consider doing this with your class or even around Valentine's Day, you know, with the roses, whatever it may be. But I was excited to do this with you all because I knew you put your best effort into it. And it was great just to have some different perspectives on what you all are going through. So thank you so much for sharing. So we usually do this. I love this meme because this is how January feels every single year. I don't know why. What is it about this month? But we're all going to start off with, now that break's over, any successes, struggles, stumps, you guys kind of shared a little bit about it. But I want to give you a chance to really just talk with each other. I don't think, well, this is my perspective, my perception of what happens with mentor teachers is that you all can do your teacher meetings and stuff. You go to your whole school staff meetings, but there really isn't a time for you to collaborate with other mentors and figure out, oh my gosh, this is what's happening to me. Or, are you experiencing the same thing? So I want to give you guys a little bit of time to just talk. You can share, what's going on, any struggles you might be having, anything like that. I want to give you all an opportunity to just vent. Oh my goodness, we do not need 15 breakout rooms. There'd be like one of you in each of them, right? That would not be good. So I'm going to give us about 5 minutes to just chat with each other. If you have any questions you want to ask each other, like how do you handle this? Or are you experiencing this? Feel free to talk about that now in this breakout room. So you will get an invite right now that'll say, do you want to join? And it'll ask you to join a certain room. So once you do that, feel free to click there. And I hope you guys enjoy some time to just hang out with some other mentors. Jennifer, did you get the invite to your room? Perfect. Hey, Jennifer. Oh, good. Everyone's coming back. Awesome. The slide is backwards for me. Is it really? Yeah, it's flipped. Is anyone else seeing it backwards? Maybe it's just me. That's crazy. Okay, I'm used to reading upside down. I'll figure it out. You get a real challenge this evening, Tara. Don't fall asleep. Was it backwards before you went to the breakout room? No, it was not. Weird. If you want to leave and come back, feel free to see if that fixes it. Okay, that's strange. Huh. Very interesting. Well, good. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed that time. If you want that to be something we do every time, feel free to let me know. If you want more time to do that, I'm happy to accommodate that. Fantastic. I feel like you guys just need a chance to breathe and relate to each other. All right, I do want to let you know about the coursework. This month in Unit 5, you do have an assignment to schedule a time to meet with your admin to just go over how it's going as a mentor, things you're seeing, and then also get their feedback about noticing anything with the staff or how you can help them, or ideas of what you can do. If it doesn't happen this month, that's okay. Just make sure, I'd say it happens before March, before observations really kick in, evaluations, testing season, all of that. And then really try to do it face-to-face and not over email. I'd like you to get the personal aspect of that. Plus, you all have learned so much about conversation and using a third point. It'd be interesting to sit with your principal and see how they are in that kind of conversation. And you can use these mentoring skills to kind of assess them. Don't tell them you are, obviously, but just to observe someone else in action in that kind of professional conversation. So something to think about. Another quick reminder that after page 62, some of the page books, page numbers don't line up. So make sure you're following the title of sections that I give you in the content. If that page number isn't lining up, that would be why. There's just a weird fluke with that. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. Actually, any questions about the content? Stuck on anything? So I'm not making sense. Okay, if a question comes up, please feel free to type that in the chat box. So in Unit 5, talking about observation skills and strategies, something that really pulls us from being present in our moments is distractions. I love these two pictures. I feel like they both illustrate pretty much what happens to me every day. I either have a whole bunch of things I have to do, or I have thoughts that will come to mind and I'm think, oh my goodness, I have to do that. And then 2 seconds later, it's gone. And I wish I could open my head up and catch that thought again, but sometimes it's just gone. Our minds as educators are everywhere. We are the kings and queens of multitasking, unfortunately. And there come times when we need to turn that off and be able to focus, and it's just difficult to do. So here's what I want you to do. You can do this in the chat box. Totally fine. If not, go ahead and open up a blank Google Doc or your email, somewhere to start typing. And I don't know if you've ever done this with your kids, but it's a great opportunity to show them what's going on in their brains, is to just free write. And whatever thoughts come to mind, you just put it on paper. Now, you certainly do not have to share this in the chat box. There might be some strange thoughts out there, which is fine. But I want to take a minute to just free write. So go ahead and get ready. Like I said, chat box, Google Doc, Word doc, wherever you want to start typing. And then we're just going to start, whatever comes to mind, type out. Don't worry about punctuation, spelling, any of that. Just get your thoughts out. So I am setting a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds, just 90 seconds. Oh, Jenny, go ahead. Did you have a question?
Yeah, quick question. Can we just write it like on a piece of paper?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's an option too. Okay, just making sure.
No, that's great.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for mentioning that. I don't know why I even think about that. I've been on a computer too long, Jenny. All right, here we go. Timer is set. Ready, set, start writing. Whatever comes to mind. About 30 seconds left. Ten seconds. And stop. All right, go ahead and share in the chat box. Were you able to write a ton? Did your mind go completely blank? Are you surprised about what you wrote? Audrey, that's a real fear. And feel free to use the microphone as well if you'd like to. Did you write a lot, a little? Hey, Carrie, that's amazing. Lindsay, that timer can be intimidating. Good. Man, go Hovland.
So I do something similar to this at the end of most weeks.
Yeah.
And I have learned that I can't put it at the very end of the week, because when I sit and write, I always come up with an idea or a solution that I need to act on or write, do something with in that moment. But when I sit down to write, I don't normally think that I'm going to have anything to say. And then I start processing going, oh, that's what I need to do with that. So I have to schedule it with a half an hour on the end to just deal with whatever solution or idea I came up with.
So the writing and then actual time to process what you just wrote. Yes, yes, absolutely. It is amazing how giving your brain permission to get it all out can often move people forward and the solution thinking and forward thinking. Amanda, you went blank. Hey, it's the end of the day too. So probably the end of a very busy week. Good. So even just seeing your thoughts on paper. I know someone said a to-do list came out of it, and Stephanie, and just seeing it written instead of swirling in your brain. I'm actually going to show you guys this amazing tech tool that I found that can help with this. And so I want y'all to practice this, but think for a minute about a first-year teacher, someone just coming in. Now, we're all obviously experts and professionals, and we've got a lot of experience under our belt, but think about them, the fears they must have, the questions they must have. What would it be like if we gave them permission to do this for a couple minutes and model that for them? Like Kristen said, she does it every week and learn to move it a little bit sooner so she has time to process it. what could come of this if they could free write or even just free speak, get it out of their brains. So this is something to think about, especially this time of year when disillusionment starts to come in that first year and being overwhelmed. Report cards probably just got finished and out of the way. So I want to challenge you all to do this with your mentees, even right along with them, and just see what happens. Ask them how they feel, what came of it. You don't have to share it, obviously, but I'm hoping that some of these thoughts that you all had as well, about, defining your role and making to-do lists, that they can do that as well. Because distractions take us out of each moment. So when times of distraction and lack of attention are high, there's usually a few key commonalities. The first one is too much to do in too little time. I think we can all agree with that one, that's pretty much an educator's life. Our to-do list never ends. Wouldn't it be amazing to cross that final thing off and go, maybe we retire. We can all do that final cross off our to-do lists. It's also when you're fatigued. And that usually comes from having too much to do and too little time. So think about a time when you weren't feeling well, when sleep was at a minimum, or just overwhelmed and your brain is fatigued. I know I get migraines. And so the next day after that, my brain is fatigued. My body feels great, but I cannot think quickly. And then another one, and this was actually mentioned in the book on page 18, there's a couple of paragraphs about it, talking about the mere presence of phones. Now, a lot of people think if they put it on silent or if they flip it over, that it's out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. But the book pushes against that belief and says, even if a phone is present, it creates that world of constant connection. And even knowing it's there can distract us from being physically and mentally present. I don't know about you guys, I've got an Apple Watch. And so even if it's on silent and away, my wrist will buzz. And in that moment, I might not look at my watch, but my brain goes, oop, something happened. Someone got home or a message was sent or someone's calling, and it takes me out of that moment. So really think about that when you're having these conversations with your mentee or any conversation really. Are you present? And if that means putting your phone in a different room and taking your watch off for just a few minutes, that might be what needs to happen. And that really does lead us into talking about how we show attention and then the 7 lenses of listening, 7 lenses of listening. So let's go ahead and jump into that. First of all, I want to acknowledge and thank you all for sharing how you felt about processing that with the free write. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and what came of it. I appreciate your openness with that. So here we go. We're going to talk about, whoops, I clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. How we show our attention. This is really building off last month with talking about the 3rd point and our posture and alignment. So our alignment in conversations has 3 different points to it, just like a 3rd point: physical, vocal, and breathing. And I will say, the last few days after I wrote this out in a presentation, I have been very mindful of these 3 things while I'm talking to someone. And I'll share what happened this evening. It's kind of funny. First of all, physical. When you are talking with someone, anyone, I want you to think right now, though, of a conversation at school. What is your muscle tension like? What's your posture like? Now, I'm not saying we always need to be sitting up straight and, this, stiff posture, but are you facing them at least? Are you the kind of person like me, obviously, who can't keep my hands still? There's gestures to it, not necessarily with my hands, but maybe my eyes, or I'm nodding my head as someone is talking. That's showing my alignment and attention in that conversation. And Jolene, you're right. It does depend on who you're talking with. If you have a teacher bestie and then you have your mentee, I'm sure that looks very different. And it should. There's a reason for that. But even thinking about, are you facing that person? Are you gesturing along to show them that you're listening? Things like that. Now, your vocal, your intonation. I'm not saying you have to be this super excited person to talk to, but when you do speak and you're showing attention, you lose that monotonous tone that can sometimes come if you're distracted. Think about, so if I had my phone right here and I'm trying to text with someone and I'm kind of all over the place, do you hear how my voice loses that intonation and becomes much more monotonous? Or if I'm returning an email, I lose that. That's what that's focusing on. My word choice. If I'm focused on something else, I'm probably not going to have an array of vocabulary to add to the conversation. I'll be distracted. I'm thinking of something else. And then your pace. Are you slow and bored and just kind of, that would not be fun to talk with. But if you're intentionally speaking to someone, even your teacher bestie or your mentee or your spouse or partner at home or a child, there's a pace to it. You keep the conversation rolling. And then breathing. I had never thought of this before, but the depth of which you breathe, the duration, and the rate. So my husband came home from work this evening at about 5:45, so I didn't really have much time to talk, but he is a police officer. It's like having my own Dateline show in real life. Like, I love hearing these kind of stories. That's just something I'm passionate about. I love it. But as he's talking, I had a real quick thought. What's my physical, my vocal, and my breathing like? And then I got back into the conversation because he's sharing about something that happened today and like he got to tase someone. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be fun? Not our students, obviously, but just to go off on someone like that who deserved it, who earned it. And I realized I was holding my breath. Now, was it the tension of the story? Was it that I was really focused on what he was saying? And then all of a sudden I thought, oh, my breathing. I took this big, deep breath and he goes, are you okay? And I went, no, I'm just focusing on my breathing. And then I had to explain this whole thing to him. But I didn't realize, and now I'm wondering, do I do that in other conversations or was it just because of the topic of conversation? I did notice my posture. I was not turned to him. I had, dinner cooking and a couple of things going on, but could I have turned to face him? Probably. But then think about with your mentee. Just think about your physical posture, your vocal posture, and then your breathing. So everyone right now, just take a nice deep breath. It's amazing how calming it is. So if you're in the middle of a conversation, or I think it was Christian earlier who said you've had a few difficult conversations recently, taking a deep breath and even doing it like right in front of them during that conversation can be quite calming for both people. So just thinking about how you show attention and you align yourself in conversations. Yes, Christian, he's been an officer for 18 years now. I can't believe we're getting that old. What is happening? But then think on the flip side of when you're not aligned. Have any of you experienced that moment where you feel like you're just not on the same page as someone? Like there's a miscommunication or you feel like you're saying everything perfectly and they're just not getting it? It might be because of this simple alignment. So if you're talking with your mentee and they're like, what? Or they're having an emotional response that you didn't think they'd have, come back to this real quick and align yourself. Physically, your voice, kind of calm it down, your breathing, and see if that helps get you back on that same page along with them. Now, as we think about our alignment, I do want to move into the lenses of listening. And I'm trying something new this week for you all. Actually, wait, don't click that link. That's just the view link. I want to make sure you guys get a copy of this. I'll make it easier for you. Click on this link. That way it takes you directly to make a copy. I'm going to try it this week. And if you guys like it, let me know. But it's kind of a quick reference guide for you when you're at work, on the job, and you need something to go to. Whoops. So it should look something like this. Whoops. Oh my goodness. Here we go. If you like this, perfect, keep using it. If not, then no worries, you don't have to use this. But this is basically what Unit 5 focuses on, is this lenses of listening. And what this can do is really drive your conversations forward, your observations forward, and all those interactions you have with your mentee. So like I said, feel free to keep this. You can actually change the wording on it if it's too complicated or you want to shorten it. But what's nice is if you're stuck, like I've talked about this with a mentee and this, but now, like, what do I do? What you could do is start listening for these different topics and see where you can go with it. So if you think back to a recent conversation you've had with your mentee, were they talking about content knowledge? Do you think they understand what they're actually talking about and teaching? Their source of goals. Are they, looking outside for goals like, oh, I found this resource, I really want to use it. So that's kind of their goal. If not, then how can you guide them towards using some sources for goals? Instructional design and delivery. The mentee engages in the activity-based planning. They're trying new strategies, all of that. Do you hear them talking about this? Or are they willing to try it? If not, this can be a great place to start. Go ahead and read through 4 through 7 on your own. And when you're finished, go ahead and identify one area that you think would be a safe place to start a conversation with your mentee. What do you think they'd be open to learning about? Or where do you feel your mentee could grow the most with? Like they never talk about number 5, so that'd be a great place to challenge them to grow. Or number 6. Or someone mentioned some school drama. Could it be number 7? Yeah, evidence cited is a big one, especially with this data that came from the end of a semester, middle of year tests. That's a great one, yeah. Professional community, absolutely. It's been a few months, now they should move forward. Awesome. So if you're going to use this Google Doc, go ahead and highlight the one that you chose. Relationship, evidence cited, any of that. Highlight it, or if you're not using this and maybe you have a planner or a document you're working on, go ahead and write that down. And that way you don't lose this in the moment thinking right now. Because your first instinct is probably the right one. Good, got some problem solving, relationships. Good. Choice points, yes. That's hard to modify instruction in the moment, yes. Wonderful. So like I said, feel free to use this as needed, edit it as needed. And then at the beginning of our session next month, I'd love to follow up and see how it helped, supported, brought about new conversations, all of that. Just another way to be present and be listening for certain things. For sure. So now that we're completely paying attention and we now know how to drive conversation forward, we need to start thinking about observations. Hopefully you've had a chance to go into your mentee's room and observe even just a portion of their class. But I want to start off by asking, what is the toughest part of observations? What's the hardest aspect about completing an observation? You all are the pros at this. You guys are the ones, boots on the ground, doing it. I think honest feedback and the comfort level are huge. Yes. It's kind of go hand in hand. Yeah. Christian, do you have a future teacher there with you?
Maybe. Possibility does exist. I mean, she's got the book. She's reading this. So
That's awesome. I love it. Future mentor there then.
Yeah. I think when it comes to observation, it's just having our newer teachers feeling comfortable with unannounced observations and just having bodies in the classroom and helping them understand that, you know, we're there to be colleagues and support each other. And
yeah,
that's really what it's all about. And I mean, even though I've hammered that home, I still have individuals that get uncomfortable when I just show up.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm not an evaluator. I'm not an administrator. I am here for you. Let's work together.
Yeah. It is hard because like you said, you can tell them, I'm not telling anyone else about this. I'm just here to help you grow. But yeah, the presence of an experienced teacher, they get so intimidated. Yeah. Yeah, looking at a lot of it, the nervousness and the honesty that's needed. Yeah. Tara, I hear you there, especially if you see a struggling teacher not wanting to step in and help. Oh man, that's hard. There was one time I was observing a new teacher and there's this little girl in the back of the room and she was eating a tube of chapstick. And this is behavior problem anyways, and real dramatically goes to the trash can and starts like barfing it up. And I'm like, what is happening here? But that teacher actually told me, don't step in. Like, I just want to see what happens in my class. And of course she's humiliated. Like, why would she eat chapstick today? But it's a great conversation starter. How can we avoid that in the future? Or where should we seat her? Yeah. Yes, it's not a judgment. Julie, I think that's how they feel. It's like we're looking down and like, oh, they really did that, or why aren't they doing this? It's so hard to communicate that. I agree with you. So some ideas to streamline this process and hopefully overcome some of this. I know for a fact, I don't have to be there in your classrooms or in your school. Based off interactions I have with you all and the work that I see in the discussions, I know you all are putting your best effort into building these relationships. And observations will just be that thing that will always be intimidating. And probably until they become mentor teachers and realize, oh, that really wasn't what they were trying to do to me. They weren't trying to judge. I think something that can help, obviously, if you have an unannounced one, this can't happen. I think that's good to do every now and then. But when you can, let the mentee know what you'll focus on. That way, they're already kind of hyper aware of that. So if you say, I'm going to come in and just listen to your objective and see how it kind of comes about, then they're going to go, okay, I have to have a killer objective today, which is fine. That's helping them learn. It's okay to give them those hints there. Only focusing on one, I strongly suggest one or two parts of the lesson or teaching. Going in there and trying to think of, like, I remember I had an observation once and the feedback was all over the place. I thought, I have to literally improve every aspect of my teaching, the strategy, the classroom management, the structure, the pacing, all of that. And it was overwhelming. But just letting them know, you know what, today I just worked on what students are doing. And I saw your students over here were really engaged, giving them that one focus, because I'm sure they're thinking of everything they did. letting them know, I'm just looking at this. After your observation, give them some questions to think about before the follow-up meeting. So at the end of your observation, maybe send a quick email and just, hey, I'm so glad I got to come into your class today. Just some questions to get you thinking. What were you really excited about that went really well with your lesson today? Or tell me something you want to work on. Like reference their goal. Think about the goal you set at the beginning of the year. How did this lesson play into that? That way, when they come to that follow-up meeting, they're already prepared with some thoughts. They're not walking in like, shaking and shivering. Oh my gosh, what are they going to say to me? You've already prepared them a little bit with what the conversation will focus on and really show them, I really am focusing on forward movement here. It's not feedback, it's feed forward. How can we get you to become a better teacher? And then something I strongly believe in is handwriting a thank you note after every observation. Thank you for showing me how you teach. I really learned a lot today. Or I'm so excited that Joe Schmo didn't eat a tube of chapstick today. That's amazing. Congratulations. And then putting it in their mailbox. There's something about a handwritten note that takes a little more thought and time. I remember it was a principal told me about Campbell's Soup. And when that company first started, they were having awful turnover. And the CEO, the boss came in and was like, why don't people want to work here? And he started a program of every single week. He wrote 25 thank you notes to employees. He went through the whole list and got through everybody eventually, but 25 a week. And within, I think it was 6 months, he didn't have anybody quitting. And it was just that moment of appreciation and that personal touch of a handwritten note could go a long way. So something to think about, even a piece of paper, nothing, hallmarky or anything, but that handwritten note can really make them feel appreciated. Hovland, like you said, that relationship is really the foundation of observations. Yes. Good, Jenny. I'm glad you did that. That's wonderful. All right. So for today, I found kind of a funny observation clip. This guy looks like the Hulk of teachers, and it's for first graders. It's kind of funny. And he references Botox in a first grade lesson. So I wanted to give you guys something a little spicy to observe, something a little different. I wonder if these first graders actually know what Botox is. I'd be very impressed. But we're all going to watch the same clip. We're not going to watch all 30 minutes of it. We're going to watch 6 minutes, the beginning of his lesson. And I'm going to send you guys to breakout rooms. And I want each breakout room to focus on one part of teaching. Now, I will say before I go too far to give you guys a chance to do this, I didn't realize when you move to a breakout room, the chat box resets. So if I put something in the chat box, you won't see it in the breakout room. So if you want to get your phone and take a picture of this, that way you guys know the questions and what each breakout room will be doing, that might be helpful to you. So you guys are all going to watch this 6 minute and 35-second clip. And then each room is going to discuss the following questions. What went well? What's one specific thing you could compliment this teacher on? What is one question you could ask the mentee to get them to reflect in a positive way? So many times our mentees immediately go to what went wrong, but what question could lead to some positive thinking? And then what improvement, just one, can be made? What suggestion can you make to make this lesson go better? So if you end up in breakout room number 1, you're going to focus on the objective and the goals of his lesson. Is he accomplishing the objective he started? Or even look at the objective he stated. Is that a great objective? Breakout room 2, student behavior. All you're going to do is watch the kids in the clip and see what they're doing. Are they on task, participation, all of that? Number 3, you're going to focus on the pacing of the lesson. Is this pace appropriate? Student response time, are they bored? All of that good stuff. And then finally, the breakout room number 4 will focus on instructional strategies. What strategies is he using? And are they working? Basically, that's all you're going to focus on. So what I'll do is I will put the link to the video in the chat box. And again, this dude is like muscles. It's funny. He's like Mr. Hulk of first grade. And listen for Botox. It's hysterical. So I'm going to have you pull up the link to the YouTube video, and then I'll open up the breakout rooms. The video is 6 minutes, and then I want you guys, I'll give you about 10 minutes. If you finish early, great, come back in. If not, we'll meet back together, I guess, in 16 minutes. So here you go. There is the video. And I'll open up the breakout room. Let me know if you have any questions before we move. Hang on, let me move a couple people around. This is being a little weird. All right, here we go. So if you've watched the 6 minutes of the call, go ahead and move to your breakout room. 6 minutes of the call, the class. Hey, Teresa, I just replied to your email.
Oh, thank you so much. You don't know what relief it was for me to hear. If you're behind, I'll help you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And did you say you're in Colorado Springs?
I am. Yeah, where are you?
I am too. I'm in Colorado Springs. Yeah, I work at a charter school, but it's like charter through District 11.
Oh, which
And I used to
school?
work at District 11. And my husband is not a police officer, but he's a deputy sheriff.
Oh my gosh, EPSO.
That's funny.
That's funny. Which charter school are you with?
Roosevelt Charter Academy.
Oh, okay.
and
Do you
South
like it?
Academy. So we're special. We're unique. You know,
Yeah.
it was interesting coming from like district to
Mhm.
charter. And I had kind of parameters. I wanted, at my charter school, you have to have a license and, all of that.
Yep.
And that was important to me. We work hard becoming teachers.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it's a very true, what I think is a good, true charter, because we're
Okay.
just standards aligned and for kids, and it's not a classical academy or anything like that. It's just very, it's just
Oh, you're good.
a good school, So anyway,
That's
Do you-
wonderful. No, that's good
yeah,
to
so
hear.
that's funny because people are just all over, I guess, the state. So
Yeah, it's
kinda
funny.
neat.
There's a group of teachers. I think they're in the asynchronous course, and they teach at the
Yeah.
high school I graduated from. And I'm like, holy smokes, this is weird.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so it's
Wow.
there was another Colorado Springer, actually about in Falcon.
Okay.
But I did my work there, and then even now, like, I work from home with this job, but I do have extra time, and so I actually sub probably one day every couple of weeks in D11,
Oh, really?
just to
So
stay in the
what do you
classroom and stay
in high
connected.
schools or?
It's any of the, I don't know if it's any of the charter schools. I don't know.
But is it like what? Is it
Galileo?
elementary or is it high school?
I do K through 12.
Oh, okay.
But is Galileo a charter? Do you know?
Galileo is a charter.
Okay,
Yeah.
so then there are charters on here. So
Oh yeah, we
like
we
ever-
pull from this. I'm gonna have to remember that because we pull from the same bank.
yes, I was
Is-
gonna say I've never seen Roosevelt, but if you ever need a sub at Roosevelt, let me know and I will.
I will definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great.
Good connection.
Or it's almost time. Okay, I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
I'm good.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Everybody's back. Did you guys hear the Botox? It cracked me up. Yes, first graders are going to know that there's no Botox long ago. Oh my goodness. So I would love to hear, we usually go by breakout rooms. I would love to hear anyone who wants to share just what you observed, what you like, the question you came up with, just anything you want to share this observation, because I think there's a lot of different aspects and different ways we could go with this young man, who I think really cares about his kids. I think he loves teaching. So if anyone would like to jump in and share, you guys can raise your hand and we'll go in order. However you guys would like to do it. I just love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, Christian, go ahead.
The routines, just like the kids, everybody, just how engaged it was so awesome to watch. My daughter was watching, and it was just like we were both like he has it all set down, routines, expectations. Like it was amazing to watch. It was very awesome, and I already put it on our district website that I'm putting together for behavior and classroom management and just building a great classroom. And I think this is one of those videos I would definitely love to share with all my teachers.
Awesome. Yeah, it was crazy. Like the kid knew exactly what to do, pay attention here. And I love the catching the word and keep it in your hand. And that was great to see. Yeah.
We got to try that with high schoolers and see what happens.
Although, you know what I was thinking? If you asked anyone in middle school or high school, put their hands like this, can you imagine the BO or like maybe call it a deodorant check or something? Like sniff your armpit. Did you put deodorant on? That could go a little sideways, but yes. Anyone else like to share what you observed or any improvements you think could be made? You could type in the chat box as well.
In chat room 1, we talked a little bit about his question of the day. We figured must have been his objective, but it was a little. We felt like the question was a little too ambiguous, and kind of taking that theme, because it felt like the question was more thematic, of breaking out of that some specific objectives of when your kids exit the room, what would an exit ticket assess of them, and let's state that as the objective. So just to kind of help narrow that focus a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. Now, Jenny, did you guys get to the point, like what one question would you ask him to reflect on that? Did you guys get there?
I don't think so.
Okay. That's okay. But yeah, it was more of a thought, like you said, a theme, where an objective would be, the skill and the topic and all of that. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we could question him with what will the students be able to do at the end of the lesson? Are you creating a timeline? Are you comparing and contrasting?
Yeah.
Just narrowing it down.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the outcome? Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Lindsay, go ahead.
I was in room 2, and we all thought he did a fabulous job keeping the students engaged. One thing that I would improve would be, and this is just an aesthetic thing, but his board was way too busy and cluttered and distracting. I was like kind of looking all around when he was teaching. So just having that conversation with him, he's doing a fabulous job already. What is most important for your students to see on your board all day, every day, and maybe making a separate reading board where they can all turn their bodies to it, go over the vocab, and then go from there, having a math board they can turn to. I just found it to be distracting.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, especially for first graders as they're learning so much. They could be pulled in so many different directions. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, Carrie, your comment about less thinking and putting more on that with turn-in talks, that's a great idea. I think he did it at one point, turn to your neighbor and talk about something. But yeah, you're right. A lot of it was just internal thinking. Yep. Slow down. Yes. Some of the kids could benefit from that. Anyone else want to share any thoughts you had?
Not having finished the video yet, I think that some of those concerns that we brought up or things that we were talking about, like turn-in talks and whatnot, are brought up throughout the video as I'm scrolling through, like the sharing aspect and the writing pieces and whatnot.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to it. Yeah. It's always interesting to observe a teacher in the different points of a lesson to see, like, how do you introduce this? What is, the I do, we do, you do part of it, or how do you wrap things up? Yeah. Yeah. If I walked into that classroom and he was a first-year teacher, I would be applauding him. Wow. And just the passion he showed, like he really enjoyed talking about past, present, and future. It was impressive. Yes. Well, good. Well, thank you guys for processing through that and just, really honing in on one point of his lesson. I think there were great things in all of them. I think there's ways to improve each of them. Lindsay, I hadn't even thought about the creatic board, but that's such a good point. But this is kind of the backbone of, what will an observation look like? Feel free to use these 4 questions as you think about an observation. It's a quick way to provide feedback because you're thinking back to it, you're providing something positive, a way to grow, and giving them a chance to reflect on what they're doing well. They really need to focus on that. They're not going to be perfect, but things always go well in every lesson. All right. So we are to the point where we go over self-care and a cool strategy. I cannot wait to show you guys this strategy I found this week. It's insane. We're drinking lots of water. We're being mindful. We're showing gratitude. Hopefully I had a chance over winter break just to celebrate and pause and rest. But with the new year, I'm not big on resolutions. I feel like I set myself up for failure if I make a New Year's resolution. But I do like setting a monthly goal. So think about something you can do personally. We already do enough professionally, but what can you do to take care of yourself? I've actually set 2, and I realized about a week into it that these 2 goals are going to cancel each other out. My first one is I want to go for a walk every day. I'm not looking to lose weight. I'm not looking to, get a 6-pack. I just want to feel good and like use my body. But then my second goal, I am obsessed with the Great British Baking Show. So my goal is once a week, bake something from that show. So I'm walking, but then I'm eating these insane sweets once a week. So I'm kind of canceling out the physical fitness part of it. But just set a quick personal goal. If it is to sit down in the evening and free write, great. If it's to, sit with your children every night for 5 minutes, or give everyone a hug in your family every day, whatever it is, setting a personal goal can really refresh you for your professional life as well. And encourage your mentee to do this as well, because we can all use more goals. And now for the coolest tool I've ever found in my life. So this is called Goblin.tools. It's a new AI tool. Do not download the app. The app costs money right now. But if you go online, you don't have to have an account or anything. But check this out. There's a few different aspects to it. Where did my menu go? Oh, I see. My screen's too skinny. Am I sharing my screen? I am not. Let me do that right now. Here we go. There it is. All right. Goblin.tools. That's all the addresses. The first part of this is amazing, especially for students that struggle with executive function. So if your mentee's like, my kid's all over the place, or I don't know how to tell them any clearer what to do, you can type any task in here and it will break it down into steps. So let's say I am asking a student to write a paragraph about Einstein, include 2 quotes, and a thesis statement. So let's say that's my instructions. I am going to hit, oh yeah, this is funny too. How spicy are you feeling? Do you need it broken down a lot or just a little bit? And I always start with the middle and see what it does for me. So here we go. I need to write a paragraph about Einstein, and I hit this little magic wand and watch it break it down. Oh, I wasn't too spicy, I guess. I need to break this down even more. It's working, it's working. There we go. And it tells step by step how to write a great paragraph. If you have a kid that like dawdles and just keeps on working, look what else I can do. I can come over here and click estimate, and it gives them, whoa, not 2 hours to do research. Let's bring that way down. Let's give them just 30 minutes. But you can break each part down. Now, if organize the gathered information is too broad, I hit the magic wand again, it breaks that item down. You can even put in like clean my house, and it gives you a list of how to clean your house, how to get ready for bed. This is great. This is actually made for neurodivergent students, but I think everybody could benefit from something like this. So this is the tool for Magic to do. Now, this is the exciting one, okay? I've had so much fun playing around this. The formalizer. Turn our spicy thoughts into classy ones. Okay, so have you guys seen those videos where teachers type out the text they really want to send and then they delete it and type out something professional? Here we go. So let's say your son never turns in work. He talks all the time, and you never answer my phone calls. Oops. I don't know what else to do. I am beyond frustrated with your son. Okay, I could never send that in an email. But look, I can make it more professional, less snarky, more polite, more sociable, all that good stuff. And I'm pretty spicy in that message, so I'm going to raise the spicy level up. I'm going to convert it. And look how beautiful that is. It took my frustrated thoughts and put it in something very professional, and I can copy and paste this into an email. Or if you are having trouble writing your mentee, you don't know how to word it, put it in here and let them formalize it. It's amazing. I know. This is not just for neurodivergent people. I think everybody could benefit from this. It's wonderful. This is a great one. I think this is where it really appeals to the neurodivergent students, is the judge. And I remember one time I told this joke about, I have to contextualize this, but basically, my kids were messing up the toilet paper in my bathroom. They get the whole roll on the floor, and then the floor would be wet from the bathtub, and it'd be ruined the toilet paper. And they did this over and over again. So as a joke, I had each of them like eat a square of toilet paper. They didn't actually eat it, but it was like kind of a funny threat. Well, I had a student in my class that did not understand that kind of innuendo. And he got really upset and started crying and went to the principal and said I was hurting my children. Like, it was bad. If I had had this tool, I could have put it in here, the situation, and clicked judge. And it takes everything down to technical terms. So if a student doesn't understand sarcasm, or they made fun of a friend, now the friend won't talk to them, you can actually put it in here and it'll like really break down the behaviors and what everything means. So this can take a lot of frustration out of kids. Please share this with your mentee. It's going to be so important. Jolene, that's amazing. I love it. I love it. There's an estimator tool on here. How long is it going to take? This is basically the magic to do, but in like a paragraph form. The compiler is a great way. This is a great place to free write. Write down everything on your mind and hit turn into tasks, and it'll create a prioritized list for you. So if you're overwhelmed, this is a great way to do it. And then this one's just fun, and I tried it and it worked. I didn't know what to eat for lunch, so I listed a few ingredients and how long I had, and I had the most delicious grilled cheese sandwich of my life, thanks to this site. So I want to pass this on to you to save you all time and frustration, but also please pass this on to your mentees. I hope this can save them some time and help them understand, like this formalizer. We all have those thoughts in our head about those parents and those kids. Put it on here and they'll take care of it for you. My job is to find stuff like this for you guys. So I get to do all sorts of research and figure things out. And so I love it when I find a great one. And hopefully this will come in handy for you all in the coming frustrated months. But that's your strategy for the month. Goblin.tools. It's insane. I do also want to let you guys know, I posted this in Schoology, but I am doing 30-minute webinars on AI tools, just like Goblin.tools. So it's 30 minutes. I give you 2 tools and how to use them, and then you're on your way. And this month is actually about lesson planning. The next one is on Monday. It's at 4 o'clock. You can join from your phone or computer or whatever it is. But let your mentees know about this as well, because all of these tools will be free and are time saving. That's the whole goal of this. The goal of this webinar is to help teachers work smarter and not harder and avoid burnout, because let's face it, you guys, burnout is a very real and scary thing right now. So I don't want to lose any of you guys or your mentees. Yes, Hovland, you can sign up for as many as you like. Absolutely. Let me get the link real quick to register. I'll find it in a second. But for now, I want to launch you guys with a great story. And this is a great one for your students as well. My son actually told me this from a class that he had, and I was blown away by it. Let me do this real quick so I'm not distracted. Here is the link to sign up for those webinars. And feel free to copy and paste that to your mentees as well. So maybe the science people have heard of this. I had never heard of this until about a month ago, but Biosphere 2. It was an experiment built way back last century in the 80s. Any 80s babies in here? Woohoo, let's go. Yeah. All right. It's a 3-acre world, basically. and they wanted, oh, Jolene, that's amazing. They wanted to create this world and have humans live there for 2 years and see what happened. What happened to the ecosystem? How did the people function? All of that. It's kind of like, what's that Jim Carrey movie where he lives in that world? I can't think of it right now. But they wanted to do this experiment. Now, it didn't go. What was it?
Truman.
Truman. Thank you. The Truman Show. Yes. It didn't go well. There were different levels in the air. It didn't work out well. There wasn't enough bacteria in this ecosystem and all of that. But the most fascinating part was the trees. So they had all sorts of beautiful trees, palm trees, pine trees. I mean, every kind of tree you can imagine for an ecosystem. And these trees grew beautifully and perfectly. And then all of a sudden, these trees just started dying and falling over. And they couldn't figure out why. Because if the ecosystem's balanced and everything's growing well, why aren't these trees, why are they dying and why are they falling over? They did all these studies on it and they figured out, excuse me, the reason the trees fell over is because their root system did not go deep enough into the ground because there was no wind. So wind was necessary for trees to grow well. That's awesome, Julie. So these trees were dying because there wasn't any wind. So I want you to think about this in terms of teaching. The parents, the long nights, the grading, the lesson planning, that can all be the wind that we all experience in our careers. And those experiences can help us grow deeper and stronger and more confident to support those around us. So even though the wind stinks, like right now in Colorado, at least here, it's been windy all day long and just miserable. And we all know springtime is full of wind, but that wind can actually be used for good. So I'm challenging you and perhaps your mentees to have a shift about some of the challenges you face. Could this be the wind necessary to help your roots grow deeper and you to become a stronger educator? I hope so. I hope it isn't the huge hurricane force that blows you over and out of the education world. Please don't let that happen. Call me if you're there. I will encourage you. But wind is necessary for things to grow and thrive. So with that, I want to launch you all forward into this next month. Like I said, January has 279 days, so good luck. But you all, I'm so proud of the work you're doing. I'm so proud of you all being present in this schools around the state so that these new teachers have someone to look up to, someone who's living it and setting such a positive example. So thank you so much for the hard work you all do. I appreciate your time this evening. And again, if you've fallen behind, reach out. I'd love to support you in getting caught up. That's like my passion, is just helping people, and especially you guys. You guys are like my favorite group ever. I look forward to these evenings. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Happy Friday Eve. Happy January. And I look forward to seeing you all again next month. And don't forget, goblin.tools and then the AI webinars. Hopefully you guys can come to those. They're awesome. So have a great night, you guys. Enjoy your evening. Thanks, Tara. Thanks, Jolene. Bye, Sarah and Courtney. Bye, you guys. Awesome. Teresa. Thanks, Christian and Julia and Audrey. Thanks, Jennifer and Katie. I appreciate you guys. Thanks, Jennifer. Woo! Have a good night, Lindsay. Thanks, Carrie. Bye, Hovlin. Stephanie, I appreciate you.
Adrian, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
It's personal, so I just waited for everybody
no worries.
to log out. Last month, whatever the last virtual meeting was, I wasn't able to attend, and I sent you the follow-up stuff, but I haven't seen that reflected. Do you want me to resend that?
In your grade?
Mm-hmm.
Like in the grade book? So
or are you just like not caught up, which is totally fine also?
No, you're good. Do you work in Schoology at all?
No, only for this class.
Like this is my first time really in it, and I didn't realize I have to click show grade to student.
Oh, okay.
So I guarantee you that's what's happened.
I,
I
like,
remember reading yours.
it's totally okay. I just the previous time that I had done it, you responded, and so I thought, I don't know, I don't see a grade, and she didn't respond. So
No, there it is. I just didn't click show to students. So you should
Okay.
be able to see your grade now.
Okay. No, I figured it was something easy, and if not, I could resend the email.
No, thank you for the reminder, Kira. I appreciate it.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.